battleships in World War II. The ship was ultimately destroyed due to the combined attack by the British Navy during the Rheinübung operation. So, what is the story of the sinking of the Bismarck? But before we begin, I kindly ask you to subscribe to this channel. Once you've done that, let's get started. During World War I and II, the United Kingdom relied on merchant ships to import essential food and raw materials. If the activities of these merchant ships were disrupted, the UK would experience food shortages for war needs. After the success of German surface ships in the Atlantic during the winter of 1940 to 1941, the High Command of the German Navy, Admiral Erich Johann Albert Raeder, decided to launch a much more ambitious operation. The idea was to send a powerful battle group consisting of the battleships Bismarck, Tirpitz, Scharnhorst, and Gneisenau to the Atlantic to attack Allied merchant ships. However, following the successful operation in the Atlantic, Scharnhorst needed repairs due to engine damage, and Tirpitz, which had just been commissioned on February 25, had not yet completed its trials and was not readily available. Meanwhile, due to the success of German warships in recent months, Allied convoys began increasing their protection. The British Admiralty was very concerned and had serious indications that Germany was planning a major surface operation in the Atlantic. Knowing the presence of Scharnhorst and Gneisenau in Brest and the danger they posed if they sailed together with Bismarck, the UK decided to neutralize these two battleships through air attacks. As a result of this attack, Germany was left with only Bismarck and Prinz Eugen, which would be the only available heavy warships to participate in the attack on enemy merchant ships. Admiral Gunther Lütjens, who commanded Bismarck and Prinz Eugen, actually refused to carry out the operation initially because he wanted to wait for Scharnhorst and Gneisenau to finish their repairs. However, the German Navy leadership was concerned that waiting too long would lead to the United States joining the war and increasing detection capabilities. To counter the threat from German surface ships, Britain deployed the new battleships King George V and Prince of Wales, as well as the battlecruiser Hood and the aircraft carrier Victorious at Scapa Flow. Elsewhere, Force H at Gibraltar gathered the battlecruiser Renown and the aircraft carrier Ark Royal in the Atlantic Ocean. The German High Command, OKW, was unaware of the determination of the British Navy to destroy the German surface fleet, particularly ensuring the sinking of Bismarck. The British Navy ruthlessly withdrew its naval forces from other theaters of battle. Britain assembled 6 battleships, 3 battlecruisers, 2 aircraft carriers, 33 destroyers, and 8 submarines. Additionally, Britain planned to utilize patrol aircraft for air surveillance to monitor the Bismarck. The heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen set sail around 9 p.m. on May 18, 1941, from Gotenhafen, Dynia, Poland, followed by Bismarck at 2 a.m. on May 19. Both ships sailed with escorts and met near Cape Arcona on the island of Rügen in the western Baltic Sea. They then crossed the Danish Straits toward the Kattegat. Upon entering the Kattegat on May 20th, Bismarck and Prinz Eugen sailed north toward the Skagerrak, the strait between the Jutland Peninsula and southern Norway. While sailing, Bismarck was sighted by the Swedish aircraft-carrying cruiser, Gotland, around 1 p.m. Gotland then promptly reported its discovery. On May 21, the British Admiralty was informed by the Swedish government that 2 large German warships had been sighted in the Kattegat. The ships entered the North Sea and briefly took shelter in Grimstadfjord near Bergen, Norway, on May 21. On this date, Prinz Eugen was refueled before continuing its journey to the Atlantic shipping lanes on May 22. At this time, Hood and Prince of Wales, accompanied by destroyer escorts, were already en route to the Denmark Straits. Upon learning of the departure of the German ships, Admiral Sir John Tovey, commander of the British Home Fleet, sailed with King George V and Victorious to provide support to the ships already at sea. On the night of May 23, the British submarines Suffolk and Norfolk spotted Bismarck and Prinz Eugen in the Danish Straits near the coast of Greenland. Suffolk promptly sought shelter in the fog and alerted the British Admiralty. Upon learning of the presence of the British submarines, Bismarck opened fire on Norfolk from a distance of 6 miles, but Norfolk managed to escape into the fog. Norfolk and Suffolk, outgunned, monitored the movements of the German ships using radar. No shots hit their targets, but the recoil impact from Norfolk's main guns damaged Bismarck's radar, prompting Lutyens to position Prinz Eugen in front of Bismarck. Hood and Prince of Wales made contact with the German forces in the early morning of May 24, and the battle commenced at 5:52 a.m. with a distance of approximately 25,000 yards between the two sides. Initially, the gunners on HMS Hood mistakenly identified Prinz Eugen, which was in front, as Bismarck, and opened fire on it. Captain Leach, commanding HMS Prince of Wales, realized Admiral Holland's mistake and immediately directed his attack toward the Bismarck behind Prinz Eugen. The two German ships continued to bombard Hood, and Hood, hit by an initial attack from Prinz Eugen, quickly became engulfed in flames amid the ship. Then, around 6 a.m., one or several ammunition explosions occurred on Hood, likely caused by being hit by a 15-inch shell from Bismarck. The massive explosion broke the back of the large battlecruiser, and Hood sank within minutes. Only 3 crew members out of a total of 1,418 survived. Prince of Wales continued the battle, but due to being under attack by 15-inch and 8-inch shells and suffering repeated mechanical damage to its main guns, Captain Leach decided to cease the battle and ordered an immediate retreat. As a result of the battle, Bismarck had been hit 3 times, and Admiral Lutyens subsequently rejected the request of Captain Bismarck, Ernst Lindemann, to pursue and finish off the damaged Prince of Wales. All shots fired at Bismarck came from the 14-inch guns of Prince of Wales. One of the shots penetrated the front part of the German battleship's hull, damaging several fuel tanks, causing a continuous and significant oil leak. This leak forced Bismarck to head for Brest instead of escaping into the wide Atlantic Ocean. The oil spill also aided British cruisers in tracking the path of Bismarck. Norfolk, Suffolk, and the damaged Prince of Wales continued to track the movement of the German ships while reporting their positions to draw the British forces to the scene. In response to the events, it was decided to separate the undamaged Prinz Eugen to continue the attack, while Bismarck chose to evade pursuit by British ships. Meanwhile, Admiral Donitz mobilized U-boat submarines to support Bismarck, deploying all available U-boats in the Atlantic. He arranged 2 patrol lines to ambush the British naval fleet if Bismarck led them in their direction. At 6:40 p.m. on May 24th, Bismarck counterattacked its pursuers and opened fire to protect Prinz Eugen from being pursued. At 10 p.m., Victorious, positioned 120 miles away, launched an air attack with 9 Fairey Swordfish torpedo bombers. Despite the adverse weather conditions and facing intense gunfire, the British planes attacked and successfully scored a hit with a torpedo on Bismarck's rudder. However, due to Bismarck's strong armor and torpedo protection, the attack failed to cause significant damage. After the attack, all the attacking aircraft safely returned to Victorious. At 3 a.m. on May 25, the British forces lost contact with Bismarck. Initially, it was believed that Bismarck would return to the North Sea, and the British ships were ordered to pursue into the northern waters. On the other hand, thinking he was still being followed, Lutyens promptly decided to shut down Bismarck's radio transmission and send a lengthy message via telegraph to the German headquarters. However, this action played into the advantage of the British. Although Lutyens' radio message did not directly provide information about Bismarck's position, the British could roughly estimate Bismarck's location based on the time it took for the radio message to reach the German headquarters. When they realized that Lutyens was heading for Brest, Bismarck had successfully navigated through waters surrounded by the Royal Navy fleet. However, from the south, Force H, under the command of Somerville, with the aircraft carrier Ark Royal, the battlecruiser Renown, and the light cruiser HMS Sheffield, was closing in on Bismarck to intercept. At 10:30 a.m. on May 26, a Catalina PBY aircraft based in Lough Erne, Northern Ireland, successfully located Bismarck. The ship was 700 miles away from Brest and outside the range of Luftwaffe air protection. This contact was then taken over by two Swordfish aircraft from Ark Royal. The aircraft carrier launched an air attack, but its aircrew was unaware of the nearby presence of HMS Sheffield. They mistakenly identified the British cruiser as a German battleship and immediately attacked it. Ark Royal then launched a second attack, despite the extremely poor weather conditions. 15 Swordfish planes carried torpedoes equipped with standard contact detonators. The attack resulted in 2 or 3 hits on the German ship, one of which caused critical damage to its steering system. Now with a jammed rudder, Bismarck veered off course towards Brest. At midnight, Luchen sent a signal to his headquarters, "Ship unmaneuverable, we will fight to the last shell, long live the Führer." The following day, on May 27th, the Royal Navy waited for the sunrise before launching their attack. At 8:47 a.m., they opened fire and quickly struck Bismarck. Around 9:40 a.m., the rear wall of the Bruno turret exploded, and the turret caught fire. At 9:56 a.m., Rodney launched 2 more torpedoes from a distance of 2,700 meters. Despite firing from close range, Bismarck did not sink, although it listed to the left and was engulfed in extensive fires. Shortly after 10 a.m., Norfolk launched 4 torpedoes from a distance of approximately 3,600 meters. The damage inside Bismarck was severe, and the crew began to abandon ship. Rodney ceased firing at 10:16 a.m. due to running out of fuel and was forced to leave the battlefield. At 10:20 a.m., HMS Dorsetshire closed the firing range and launched 2 torpedoes from a distance of 3,000 meters towards the right side of Bismarck. Both torpedoes hit their target accurately, but no significant effects were observed. Then, the British heavy cruiser changed course, and at 10:36 a.m., fired 1 more torpedo from a distance of 2,200 meters towards the left side of Bismarck. By that time, Bismarck was already listing to the left with water reaching the upper deck. Finally, at 10:39 a.m., Bismarck capsized and sank. The sinking of Bismarck claimed the lives of 2,000 people, including Captain Lindemann and Admiral Luchens. And that is the story of the pursuit of the battleship Bismarck by the British Navy. From the tale of the Bismarck, we can conclude that the German Navy and its vessels are deserving of recognition from the world. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.